Good afternoon, Tony Dattino here, doing my Live with Tony on Monday, October the 18th, getting ready for this coming Saturday where the team is excited. We have a few more days left before our 22nd USA Memory Championship, and we've got 14 people coming from different parts of the United States to compete here in Orlando, Florida, to see who has got the best memory. And I'm delighted to see that our COVID reporting, the numbers keep coming down, and Florida may be the model as we go forward as to how we handle or not handle this. And I don't want to get into the details of all that, but we're making progress, and that's the good news, though we are not having spectators attend the event with the exception of a few VIPs. But what's exciting about it is we have 14 people from Texas, Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania. And the question people are asking me now is, who do I think is likely to win? And it's an interesting question because we have 3 former USA Mental athletes that are champions, USA Memory Championship champions, and we have several people that did well in the Lumosity qualifying rounds, along with Memory League. So we had virtual companies, Memory League and Lumosity give us the virtual competition back on August 7th, and there were a couple of people that did extremely well in that event. So you mix them in with the 3 prior champions, and you just never know when you're doing a head-to-head who's going to come through the word list, the 300 words. Who makes it through the periodic tables where they've had a month to study 2,500 bits of information. Then who gets through the tea party? I started looking at some of the videos. We decided again to keep it safe and be as conservative as we can. We have a tea party event that will be going on. Who's going to make it through there and then get to the 2 decks of cards? And so let me just show you. I will be beginning tonight. I've got my cards. There we go. I've got my decks of cards, and I will start putting them into order. And this is going to be my work project for the next several days, of following the script of the event and then putting these cards into those orders. And so who comes through all of that and winds up getting the trophy, the Seahorse Trophy? And people ask me about why a seahorse, and that's because the memory in our brains is housed in the hippocampus, and when you look at the graphs and the MRIs of the hippocampus, it tends to look like a seahorse. So goes our trophy for the winner, and we're working on a special surprise for the winner of the event. Since we are close to the world of Disney, we're going to see if we can make that connection as well. So that's what's going on, and we are set. We've arranged our speakers. The event is going to start at YouTube. It's going to be YouTubed on the USA Memory Channel website. It's going to be on the USA Memory Channel on YouTube. But if you go to the USA Memory Championship website, USA Memory Championship website, there'll be a link right there, and all you do is pop that link, and it'll take you right off into the website. For the YouTube, not the website, but the YouTube broadcast. It's going to be streamed live, and it starts at 12 o'clock. Now, what I've been telling people is there may be segments of it that you may enjoy more than other segments. So, for example, in the opening segment, we're going to have 3 people vying and demonstrating the pinball recall game of Lumosity. So if you're somebody that's fascinated by Lumosity and their pinball recall, and you want to see how 3 mental athletes play that game and how they score in it, then we're going to be starting that in the 12:15 range. And then between 12 and 12:30, we will then have the rankings of all 14 people and how well all of them did in that particular event. And that will be how they decide where they get to sit on the 14 seats that we will have on stage. So we decided not to have 14 people live stream for Pinball Recall, since after the 3rd go, you got the pretty good flavor if you're watching it, how that's going to work out. So that will do it, and then at 1 o'clock they start their competition. So we'll have some introductions between 12:15:30 to 1 o'clock. Certainly our sponsors from Lumosity will have a few things to say about their commitment to this, and we'll have our CEO of the Rosen Center, Event Center, make some comments. I will certainly welcome our mental athletes, and by 1 o'clock we are off and running with the words to remember. Now that's 15 minutes of space where we will have Jim Carroll, who's probably the man with the best long-term memory that you'll ever find anywhere, along with a professor of neuroscience, a researcher, Robert Ejemian from MIT. So between 1 and 1:15, there's a spot for people to learn some things about our brain and the demonstration of anyone can actually learn to improve their memory. And boy, Jim Carroll is like the golden holy grail of what that's all about. So then when they come back on at 1:15, you'll get to see the 14 of them sit there, and we will start going through a head-to-head round robin there of eliminating 3 or 4 people. And I think we're going to eliminate 4. If all 14 show up, we'll eliminate 4, and then take 10 off into the next event. So we'll have a break at that point. They'll give them the event. We'll eliminate 4, and then we'll take a break. And during that break, we'll have a speaker again. So we've got some speakers lined up for each of our breaks, so that if an audience at home in live streaming wants to just be educated on elements of memory, they could just kind of queue up into the live stream breaks and catch Columbia University, MIT, Bob Schaefer from Lumosity. I mean, these men are phenomenal speakers in what they educate and what they teach people in terms of what they do. Through each event, then, we will go from there to the long term, the audience at home. So that's due to start at 2 o'clock. So we're going to plan to start at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3, and 4 o'clock. So you can tune on the hour, and you can catch the actual event with the competitors, or you can tune in for the breaks and catch an educational session, or you can just leave it on and let your mind magnetize to something that you say, gee, I heard something, I'm really interested in that. I'd really like to learn something about how they might have done that or how I could apply that to my own life. We have time before it goes well. We want to have people send in notes and questions so that we can get one of our experts to be able to answer those questions for you during the afternoon. So when people tell me, it's like, wow, wait a minute, you're starting at 12 and you're going to 5, this is a memory competition, are you joking? The way we have broken the day up into hour segments in education, competition, entertainment in a level, in some sense, the 5 hours for me, it's like all the planning and weeks and months come together in 5 hours that seem to go by in 5 minutes. And I have never, in 21 years of doing this in the past, never have I had a spectator walk away and say, my goodness, this was the most boring thing I've ever seen. It's to the contrary. And that can be TV people, radio, newspaper, magazine, media folks that have always walked away and say, I would never have expected this to be so interesting, so intense, so educational, and certainly entertaining when I was assigned to come and do this. Or when a spectator decided, you know what, let me take a lark, and hey, it's Saturday afternoon, there's nothing I want to watch on TV, not interested in college football, why don't I just go see what this thing is all about, and then just get hooked. It's like a magnet, it just pulls them in, and they then tend to stay and just blown away by what these men and women are able to do with their memories, which then brings us to the whole point of it. My founding of this event was to prove to people there was more that you could do with your memories and or your creativity and your brain than you ever thought possible. And it's through this event each year that we're able to demonstrate that and prove to people these are men and women that weren't born with brilliance. They weren't savants. They didn't have natural memory instincts. They practiced. They've learned systems. They've learned techniques. They've learned skills. And we've taken those skills and we've captured them into a program, an online program called Maximum Memory Mastery, So we now have an offering to people to say, hey, look at Maximum Memory Mastery, and this is something that you might be able to look at to improve your own memory. But the point is, these men and women are the folks that have demonstrated the amazing capacity of human thought. And that's been my passion for 25 years in what I've researched and done in wanting to make a difference in people's lives. And that's what this event culminates in doing, is bringing people from across the country that have learned some of the skills and are willing to put those skills on stage. And now this year, live stream it through YouTube. And we're excited. We've got a lot of good people that are going to be there to support us. And I think anybody that watches this at home is going to be blown away in the safety and comforts of their own home during this period of time where I still tell my loved ones, you still need to be cautious, you still need to be careful. As we saw today, the sadness of Colin Powell passing as a result of COVID. And my only thoughts to that were, God, he's at the best hospital for military people in the world, presidents and military, and they've probably got the best docs anywhere. And even he too had to succumb to this terrible disease. And so we're being very safety cautious in our Saturday event, which is why, as much as we could have loved to have had spectators, we're hoping more and more people will have watch parties and get people to sit somewhere in a center or in their living room and watch people compete in this event and just have some fun and enjoy it. So with that, this is my Monday evening broadcast. I will do one on Wednesday. I don't think I'll be doing a Friday broadcast this week since I'll be at the center. So I may try to squeeze in one on Thursday as I'm beginning to finalize our plans for Saturday. But check out USA Memory Championship website, and that will get you to the YouTube channel for Saturday's competition. And I promise you, even if you tuned in for a half hour to an hour, you will clearly find it well worth your time. But realize your calendar and the risk you take, you may not be able to shut it off.